Hey, what's happening, YouTube? I'm Derrick T, and we're in the house filming another episode from the new house, from the new garage. It got a lot more space in here to work than at my old place, but nonetheless, that's not really the point of this video. The point of this video is the last episode when we were talking about the electrical problems that I was having with the bike. I introduced you to a subscriber, brother Mario Robinson. He's out in Oakland, California. All right. I told you that I had a special treat for you and that he had a 99 Goldwing GL1500, and he's done some pretty amazing stuff to it. So he was kind enough to take a few minutes and go over everything that he's done with his bike, and I want to feature that on today's episode. So with no farther ado, I'm going to give you brother Mario Robinson, coming to you from Oakland, California. Mario, take it away.
Hey everybody out in the YouTube world of the Honda GL1500. This is brother Mario representing Oakland, CA, connecting with my man Derrick T all the way out in Pittsburgh, PA. And I was asked as a courtesy to do this video to go over some of the upgrades and details of my 1999 Honda GL1500, as you can see here. So I'm going to walk you guys through this bike from top to bottom. We're going to discuss some of the upgrades and minor things that I did, inexpensive upgrades and details to really make this bike pop. So as you can see down here at the ground level, we're going to start from the floor up. I do have a ring of fire. It's amber. That is installed on both the front left and right wheel covers. As you can see here in the state of California, it's illegal for us to use the blue and red because the local PD and Highway Patrol uses that as their standard colors and lights for the flashing and whatnot. So we can't do that technically. So I have a ring of fire installed here with the amber LED semicircle. And to install that, for folks that don't know, you just have to basically drill holes in the wheel cover, tap holes, and then install it with the 4 screws that it comes with. And then of course wire the LED into the wiring harness of the bike or wire it into a fuse box, which is most importantly the safer, more efficient way to go, to have everything running through a fuse block and even possibly also even a ground block. And those are available online. And that's the other thing too. I'm going to provide Derrick with all the links and details to all of the bulbs and lights and everything that I did on this bike here as far as upgrades. Underneath the fender cover here, I do have a super brace. So if you haven't invested in a super brace, you definitely want to do that. It really stabilizes the forks and kind of eliminates that under 5 mile an hour wobble that sometimes you might experience with the GL1500. That also can be caused by improper tire inflation as well. So that's one other thing you have to check. I also have some fog lights installed here. These fog lights are also available online. I'll provide the links and the information for that. And I have them installed down here. They're LED, they're nice and bright, and they really fit the contour of this front fairing of this GL1500. And they're not protruding outside of that, and you don't have fog lights installed that are sticking outside the natural contour and body of the bike. There is a light bar that's on the market for that. I don't prefer it. It kind of looks a little tacky. I like things to be streamlined and uniform. There's also one additional piece down below here. If you all can see it, I'm gonna get down here. This is actually a Fahren Skirt. This Fahren Skirt is actually available online. It can be picked up online. You do have to do some modifications to the Fahren holes here that are originally here from the manufacturer. You are going to have to drill those out, make those holes a little bit bigger so that these bolts will fit. You also have to tap holes in the side of the skirt here so that you can actually mount the actual LED lamp on both sides, and you're going to have to do some precise measuring, and things like that to make sure you get it right and it's balanced and everything looks uniform. But this is a rare item, but it is available online. I did check a couple of days ago and it is still available. This piece here that you guys are looking at is a LED grill insert that I actually picked up online. It has been discontinued, so it is not available anymore, unfortunately. I do have down at the bottom here LED curb running lights. Each one of these bulbs here actually has 6 LEDs. So they're 50 watt and super bright. I'll provide the links to that information as well. I have the SoCal Motor Gear H4 LED headlights installed, as well as the two 50 watt position lights that you can see right here. So I do have those installed. I do also, my bulbs are from Electrical Connection, but I do have a pair of the SoCal Motor Gear H4 LED headlight bulbs for the GL1500 as a spare. It's basically the same bulb, same specification. I also have LEDs here in my front left and right turn signals, flashers. So I have LED those as well. I know some of you might be thinking, my God, how is his headlight lens is pretty clear. How does that thing look so clear like that? Well, I do have a product that I use here by Turtle. What is that? Miss Turtle Wax. It's called Lens Clarifying Compound. You can pick this up on Amazon. And I use this compound like every 6 months or so on my headlight lens, the lenses all around this bike. Of course, I don't park my bike in the sun either. It's in its garage and it's always covered. And it keeps that headlight lens looking nice and clear, so you get the optimum projection from those headlights down the road, and you can see clear, no hazy, no fuzzy, no nothing like that. I also use it on my LED lenses down there and even the curbside running lights. The windshield that I have here that you guys see, this is a show chrome windshield that can be picked up online from Big Bike Parts and also another vendor, Cyclomax. It's the largest one that they have for the GL1500 with the vent. I just installed the vent from the other previous windshield in here, so I have a spare now. I also have a couple master cylinder covers here. So I have the clutch master cylinder cover here, and also the same on the master brake cylinder up top here. Just nice little accents. I didn't go too crazy with the chrome, just nice little accents. They have the gold eagle, as you can see on top. Nice little accent. Also, I have installed on my bike here, I do have the progressive fork springs. So that's one thing I want to talk about. You do want to install the progressive fork springs on this bike. This bike does not dive. I don't have any diving effect or any lunging effect with my bike when I have to brake hard or anything like that. Those springs definitely work. They're worth it. They're not too expensive. I think they're about $100. It costs more labor and time to install them than it does for the product, but it's worth it. And it's an easy install. They definitely help with the anti-dive and supporting the weight of this heavy bike. As you can see also here, well, before I get to that, let me discuss some other things. Also in here, I have the all balls steering head bearings. That's all balls. So I did upgrade my steering head bearings underneath here to the all balls steering head bearings, as well as the front wheel bearings. So my front wheel bearings are also all balls wheel bearings. I did not do that for the rear because when I changed tires or needed to change tires at that point, I checked those bearings. They're in top optimal shape. I just repacked them, basically. So I want to make that clear. The other thing here is, as you can see, my lights are nice and bright on my meter panel here. And also I have an LCD installed there. That is not the analog OEM LCD display. There's a company called Tanin, Tanin. I'll provide the links. Tanin Auto Electric. They will upgrade all the bulbs in your meter panel and install the new up-to-date LCD display in your meter panel. They will do that. I could have done it myself and ordered the kit. I just didn't have the time to tinker with it. So since I had to change my speedometer cable, which is connected right up underneath here, behind here, which you cannot get to without taking off the mirrors, taking off the mirrors and the speakers or whatnot, and this whole cover here, this whole dash cover to extract this meter panel and the connectors back here, it was worth it to do it since I had everything off the bike anyway. But yeah, Tanin Auto Electric upgraded all my bulbs and my lights. They're not LED, they're standard factory bulbs. But just in case one of those bulbs would have went out, I don't have to worry about that now or gone out because I've had them upgraded and replaced, and I have a new LCD panel there. So they took care of that for me. I also have a ultimate seat I picked up recently. This is my new ultimate seat here I picked up recently online. The low profile Easy Rider, I believe it's called, ultimate seat. I did order the backrest with it. The backrest folds down so it allows the rear passenger to exit the bike and swing your legs over. It also has a pouch on the back, sits right in nice and easy. So now we're going to move on to the lights, but before we do, I'll just show you guys one other thing. I do have the little chrome cover here for the reverse handle. Have some ISO pegs that I recently installed on here. Got to do a little bit more adjustment on those. And I've also ordered the Bigfoot kickstand. So I just ordered the Bigfoot kickstand to install here to give me a much larger footprint as far as the stand, and also just make it easier to support that bike. It's a stronger stand, so I did do that. So let's talk about some of these lights here, the LEDs specifically. So I have, like I said, LED turn signals, but I've also installed a flasher kit for these Fahren side marker lights on both sides. So these will actually flash when I activate the turn signals and hazard lights, as well as my trunk lights here on the left and right side. So these three and the other three on the other side, the total 6 will flash. So I'm going to show you guys that right now. I'm going to demonstrate that. So now my hazard lights are on. As you can see, my hazard lights are flashing. And you can see my Fahren side marker light is flashing as well. You can also see that my trunk running lights are flashing right along with the blinker as the blinker is supposed to. They're actually flashing. And even my spoiler LED flashes right along with that. As you all can see that. Fahren marker light on the other side flashing. So of course you all know safety is the most important thing when riding these motorcycles, and the more indicators you can have, illuminated indicators, the much safer you can be, and that means an automobile can see you. They can see you if you're passing. They can see that you are signaling or sending a notification that you're going to change lanes or turn, and they can see that coming off the rear of the bike, the side or the front, the front Fahren side or the rear trunk side. A lot of indicators going on here. So in order to do this or achieve this, there is a side marker flasher kit. You can order online. I'm going to provide the links. It has the 3 small plastic connectors, or I call them mini Molex connectors. You do have to splice a couple cables in there and attach to the power source in the ground, and then also the wire that goes to the left and right turn signal that's wired to the switch that interrupts the power that creates the flash. You have to tap into that as well, and you're going to have to cut off one of the connectors, because you're not going to have enough to reconnect everything. So you have to cut off one of the connectors and then splice a couple wires together. But it's easy to do and easy to figure out, and then you'll get the flashing effect or the flashing sequence going on here simultaneously or dynamically with the turn signals. Now this bulb here is LED. It's not the standard incandescent bulb that's normally in this reflector, or no bulb at all. There's an LED bulb in there, and I'm going to provide the links to those bulbs as well as the turn signal flashers. And that bulb has 5 LEDs on it. So it has 4 around in all 4 omnidirectional, and then it has one in the center in the front. That's why you can see that it's lighting up the entire light fixture there. When it flashes, it's lighting up the entire thing. Some great LED bulbs that are installed in there. And I've also LED these bulbs here. So as you can see, the bulbs in the side trunk running lights, these bulbs are LED as well. The good thing about that is, I'm going to stop the flasher. The good thing about this is the same bulbs that's required to LED the trunk running lights on the left and right side are the same bulbs that are required to LED the 12 bulbs at the bottom on each side of the saddlebag. So that's 6 on each side. Same bulbs. They are polarity sensitive. So when you install them, you have to make sure that you orientate them properly. They're polarity sensitive. And then also make sure that the contacts inside of there are aligned, above and below each other in parallel. Nothing's crooked or off. And then kind of use a pair of needle nose pliers and give it just a little bit of a pinch to make sure that bulb's in the socket. Same thing down here. You're gonna have to make sure the bulb is orientated properly, that it's not turned into the reflector or too far pitched too far up or too far down. And also give it a little bit of pinch inside of the connector there, so that it's fixed and it's sturdy, not loose and where it can bounce out of there. You also want to probably use a little bit of Gorilla Glue on the plastic connector or the plastic socket when you fit it or place it back down into the slot. There's 6 slots in there, and the little white connector fits in the slot. You might want to use a little Gorilla Glue there, and what it does, it keeps that connector sturdy and solid in between the 2 pinched plastic supports there, so it's not popping out of there. But definitely don't use the Gorilla Glue on the bulb itself, but on the connector or fixture that the bulb, the socket that the bulb actually fits into, to make sure that that's affixed to its place in there and everything stays put. But it's actually the same bulb, so you can order these bulbs in a total, what is that, 18 bulbs. You can order 2 extra just in case 1 or 2 is a dud. But it takes a little bit of a job. It's a little bit of a job to do that here. These are easy. You just take off, disconnect the 2 bolts inside the trunk. You do have to take off this panel underneath here, and that'll pop out. Here you're going to have to, of course, open the saddlebag. There's 3 bolts. You're going to have to open the corner pocket here at the bottom and disconnect the wire from the corner pocket. It's going to have that little red or blue clam shell wiring clamp with the little metal splicer. I would advise that when you reinsert this, that you definitely use a tie wrap around that clamp. Those clamps can get frail and they can warm up, and the tab can disconnect or disengage, and it can open up, and then you'll have a short. So I would definitely secure that with a tie wrap once you put everything back, and just splice all the wires. Make sure the wires are clean, and insulate them with a little bit of electrical tape. Also, definitely you want to make sure that you, what was I going to say here? That you, well, it'll come back to me because I forgot. It'll come back to me. But that's pretty much the job here, is to make sure the wiring is, clean, nice splicing, tie wrap to secure everything, use electrical tape to put everything back, and you should be fine there, and everything will work out. It'll work out, nicely for you. All of these bulbs down here are LED, with the exception of this one trunk light here. I was not able to LED that bulb. For some reason, if I LED that bulb, the whole entire light sequence goes crazy. I don't know why. I do have LED flashers installed, so everything is LED down here across the lower bottom and across the top, with the exception of the top right corner there. This actual piece that you see here used to be just a placeholder reflector. That piece is available online. I'm going to provide Derrick with the links for that as well. And one most important thing about anytime you are LEDing the bulbs on the GL1500, make sure if it's a running light that's red or a brake light that's red, you order the color red. Make sure the color is red. So these bulbs are ordered in the color red. These bulbs are in the color red. Anything that needs to be red, make sure it's red. Same thing with the LED turn signals. I made sure I ordered amber, orange. So make sure you order the bulbs in the correct coloring. And I'm actually going to provide Derrick the links with the correct coloring. The actual turn signal flashers for the bike are underneath here. They're just right up underneath here, underneath this panel. You do not need to disconnect the trunk to get to those turn signal flashers. You just need to disconnect or disengage one of the saddlebags on either the left or the right side here, and just move it over 1 or 2 inches, and then you can disengage this piece right here, this whole center piece right here. The 2 bolts that hold this fixture in place are actually right underneath here. So you can literally stick your hand underneath here and feel those 2 nuts, and you can take those caps right off, and this piece will pop right out. If you have that placeholder there, you can do that. It's simple. I have LED bulbs in here. I do not have the stock incandescent bulbs that it comes with. They blow out fast and they don't last. So I do have the link for the 2 LED bulbs that I placed in here in red, that makes this piece really pop. But this light fixture now actually acts as a running light and not just a reflector as it was before. So that's pretty much it in regards to my bike and the upgrades. Like I said, everything is LED back there. It is a bit of a job to LED the bulbs along the bottom here, because you got to do a little wiring work. You do want to make sure you have a 9-volt. That's what I was missing. A 9-volt or a 12-volt battery, so that you can take the wiring from the whole entire light strip and test every bulb. Every time you install every bulb and orientate that bulb, you want to test the bulbs to make sure it lights up. So that's the other part. So you want to do that definitely before you put everything back and you fish the wire back through the hole and whatnot and start clamping everything back down and securing everything. You definitely want to do that. Also picked up these antennas here that I was able to get the link from Derrick's YouTube site in the about section for these. I think they're like 6 3/4 inch premium antennas. So I just installed those. It's a simple install. You just vice grips or whatnot. The screw, the nut for the previous antenna, just counterclockwise comes right off and pop those on. So that's pretty much the install for me here as far as upgrades to my bike. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. Almost one other thing, I almost forgot about that. The trunk flasher kit. So the reason why you were able to see these lights flashing here, number one, yeah, I do have LED flashers installed. I only had to replace one, but I went ahead and put both LED flashers in there because the stock OEM flashers are not LED flashers, and they have been on my bike since probably for 23 years. So I made sure I just replaced them both anyway. So I do have LED flashers installed. The stock flashers are not installed. There is a flasher kit. There's a trunk flasher kit that is installed underneath here. So you do have to take this panel off. So if you're going to replace this piece here with the light fixture, you might as well pop this off and install the trunk flasher kit. Now you don't have to splice any wires with that. It's plug and play. You'll see there's a mini Molex connector, white connector here that connects to another cable underneath over here. That's underneath here, and right here is just plug and play. You just plug that in and then connect the other two existing cables to the other two ends that are hanging down. And that's what makes these lights flash right here on the trunk. It's a trunk flasher kit, no splicing required. The side marker, LED lights or lights to flash does require a little splicing in this pocket and the other pocket on the other side. You do have to splice it, like I said, into the power, the ground, and the turn signal wire that's coming from the switch that interrupts the power that causes it to flash, but not back here. You just pop plug and play underneath, boom, trunk lights will flash, no problem. And you should install the LED flashers just in case. If you install the bulbs and you don't get any hyper flashing, then you're fine. If you do get hyper flashing, just replace one on the left or the right side, check everything, see what happens. If it's fine, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you want to go ahead and replace them both, then I would. That's what I did. I replaced them both so I wouldn't have to worry about it. So I have LED turn signal flashers, or LED flashers, 2 flashers underneath there. You'll see them. Once, like I said, once that panel is off underneath here, you can literally orientate your hands and get right underneath here and you can feel them. They have 2 rubber boots on there. They're mounted on a post. You can wiggle them and slide them right off. And you don't have to put them back on the post on the boot if you don't want to. You can actually just go ahead and use a tie wrap to secure them underneath there. Everything will be fine. So that's it, folks. This is Mario, from Oakland, CA, connected with my man Goldwing and Derrick T out in Pittsburgh, PA. And that's the upgrades on my bike. Other than a little paint touch up and a nice polish, that's it. Runs nice. It's a nice bike. I'll see you all later. Until next time.
All right, YouTube. So I'm back, and hey, was that not an awesome presentation of a Goldwing GL1500 or what? Hey, I know for me, I got my work cut out for me if I want to catch up to that guy one of these days. But all the way from Oakland, California, I really appreciate you, Mario, because he tuned into, number one, he subscribed to the channel, tuned into the video, and then was able to help me get my bike back on the road all the way from across the country. And so I really appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with me, even if it is from 2,000 miles away. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, I'm Derrick T. You all be safe out there, and I'll see you on the next video.